During the episode of Chicago Fire that aired tonight, Carver's new girlfriend was not a positive influence on him personally. In the late hours of the night, Tori kept him out partying. She never gave him permission to relax inside throughout the day. Furthermore, Carver was unaware that she was monitoring his phone at the same time. It was a message from Violet that she saw. Carver had a profound affection for Violet, or at least he had in the past. Violet is another person he must collaborate with, but Tori is the type of person that is easily envious. To ensure that she would be able to keep him, she was willing to destroy his relationship with the other people. She was not the final person in the relationship, and neither was she. It was inevitable that she would eventually run out of ideas, and until that time came, Carver would go to work sick with a hangover, and he adapted to their new Probie in the process. Neither this time nor the time before, the Probie did not present any difficulties. My name is Kylie. At the age of 51, Kylie had practically matured. She did a good job in my opinion. On the whole, she is well liked by everyone. Everyone was relieved to see her back at the house, and even the new chief thought she was a positive influence on the other members of the family. It was Chief Pascal's ability to find time to speak with almost everyone. One of the only people he has not had a one-on-one conversation with is Rita. In all honesty, Rita was beginning to feel anxious about that. It was said that he was someone who was liked by everyone. Chief Bowden was someone he got along quite well with, and he hoped that Chief Pascal would be the same way. In order to properly introduce himself to Pascal, Rita was looking for a way to start the conversation. While he was in Chicago, he discovered that they had attended the same primary school. The phrase, "we're both grasshoppers," was intended to be his opening statement. The emblem of the institution was the animal. At the time, Novak was trying to establish a rapport with him, but he was unsuccessful. This was a terrible introduction according to her. Additionally, she mentioned that the incoming chief would be able to witness how amazing of a firefighter Rita is, and that this is the only thing that matters. That ought to have been the conclusion. It did not happen. During the time when Rita was attempting to schedule quality time with Pascal, an accident occurred. In his office, Pascal left Rita to his own devices. A medal that Pascal had acquired was visible to Rita. A statue of a firefighter in small form was what it was. That was taken up by Rita. The surprise that Novak gave him caused him to drop it. It fractured. There was a severed head. Novak was successful in reattaching the trophy's head, and from that point on, she intended to leave it at that. Rita was the one who got quite agitated. The last thing he wanted was for Pascal to pick it up and then have the head fall off again. He desired to either replace it or mend it if it was broken. In a state of panic he was, and he desired to do some action in order to make amends for it. On top of it, it was Violet's birthday. They had just returned from a very distressing phone call. They had been looking for a reason to rejoice. An entire house was called to the scene of an automobile accident. During the accident, there were 2 transportation rigs involved. One of them was owned by J.R. Maddox Trucking, for example. Because of this, Kid investigated it for Severeid, who had a recollection that was sparked by it. As a result of her investigation, she learned that trucking company had been responsible for a number of mishaps. In the event that it continued to occur to them, they believed that the company was to blame. It was only after they discovered that the company had already been investigated that they attempted to bring in OFI to conduct an investigation. In their investigation, the OFI was unable to identify any official issues with J.R. Maddox Trucking. There's been no problem with the trucking firm. Child and Severeid had no choice but to experience it. It was Violet's birthday, but they decided to forget about it. Everybody was invited by Violet. On top of that, Novak invited Pascal. In contrast to Carver, Pascal did not show up at all. Carver was able to claim that he had to work overtime in order to get out of a date with Tori. In its place, he attended the birthday party that Violet was throwing. Eventually, Tori learned about it. She made the excuse that she was going to drop off dinner in order to check on him. As soon as she learned that he was not working, she hurried to Molly in order to make a scene. Tori made the accusation that Violet was deceiving him. Violet was adamant that they end their relationship, she stated. Carver was put in a terrible situation as a result of her telling him that he had to choose between the two of them. It was a sad situation for Violet. She expressed her regret the following morning because she had a sneaking suspicion that she was the cause of Tori's melancholy. She revealed that she had sent a text message and that Tori was disturbed by her actions. After receiving this text from Violet for the very first time, Carver was perplexed because it was the first time he had heard about it. Due to the fact that Violet was called to a scene, she was unable to provide an official explanation. An individual who had been stabbed was treated by Violet and Novak. A bystander was providing assistance to the individual, an onlooker who is incredibly attractive. Even though Violet was still concerned about Carver, she didn't even realize what was going on. Novak, on the other hand, observed that Pascal had moved the statue, which means he is aware that it is broken. Novak made the decision to come clean. As a result of her honesty, Pascal praised her for taking responsibility for the situation. Because of this, Ritter was left with the impression that he had passed up yet another chance to win Pascal's admiration. To add insult to injury, Ritter was involved in the Violet/Carver situation since Carver approached him for assistance in retrieving text conversations that had been deleted. The message that Carver failed to receive was not a single one. A number of texts were removed by Tori. There were a few of them that was from the time that he was in Texas. Violet made an effort to maintain communication, but Tori thwarted her efforts on every level. Kid, in the meantime, was able to uncover the mystery surrounding that trucking establishment. There were ghost timetables for them. They created fictitious individuals who they said were driving half the time, but in reality, there was only one person who was responsible for driving the entire time. Overworking their drivers was a problem for them. This is the reason why they ran into so many accidents. Kid learnt about it due to the fact that one of the drivers has a son named Michael who is a teenager. Michael's mother was often traveling from place to place. Her assumption was that he was staying with his father. In point of fact, his father had relocated to a different state with his new girlfriend. Both Michael and the fact that Michael was living on his own were irrelevant to him. Michael was discovered breaking into the home that belonged to his father. Subsequently, he made things work by attacking the sign that was shown for the trucking company. He sustained injuries as a result of being shoved by the owner of the truck. For the purpose of preventing Michael from getting into major trouble, Kid solicited a few favors from the authorities. Moreover, Michael's mother made the decision to reveal the fact that the corporation was forcing them to engage in driving without authorization. Additionally, Violet received a response from that bystander. I thought he was adorable. They were about to begin anything until Carver made a foolish decision by forgiving Tori. They had exchanged phone numbers and were set to begin something. Not only did Kylie save money in the budget, but she also assisted Herman in purchasing new radios. This woman was his Robin. Batman was his name. Together, they set out to conquer the system.